And welcome to another edition of Ducks No Sports. This week, I'm previewing Week 3 of the NFL. Week 2 of the NFL. Interesting week always in the NFL. A lot of upsets that a lot of people, especially me, didn't see coming. But hey, that's why we watch the NFL every week. Well, we'll start with a Thursday night, of course. The Atlanta Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Start with Atlanta here. After a pretty impressive Week 1 showing against the Saints last week, man, they just got their butts kicked. I mean, everything that went right in Week 1 for Atlanta went wrong in Week 2 against Cincinnati. Matt Ryan was just, let's call it, Matt Ryan was awful. The offensive line couldn't protect him at all. Receivers just couldn't get open. Defense played horribly. I mean, Atlanta Falcons let's just throw that one away. Atlanta Falcons played terrible last week. And that's got to be asked this week. Which team's going to show up? Is it the Week 1 team who just beat the Saints and was clearly the better team in the second half against the Saints? Or is it the Week 2 team who didn't even show up in Cincinnati? So it should be interesting, but I still believe in the Atlanta Falcons. I still think they are a good football team. I think last week was... I don't know what happened last week, but I don't think that's the team we're going to see week in, week out. I think we'll see more of Week 1 this season. The team we saw in Week 1, I think we'll see that team more. And I really like them this week because they're playing a team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who, let's call it, are terrible. I mean, you lose to the Panthers with Derek Anderson starting in Week 1. Week 2, you lose to the Rams. I mean, this team's 0-2, and I keep hearing how great this defense is. Well, it's time they showed up. Because let's face it, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are looking like they'll be picking first in the draft. I know it's only 2 weeks in, but the way they're playing looks like they'll be picking first in the draft. Offense can't get anything going. Defense is, okay, not playing horribly, but not playing up to the standards that everybody thought they would be. Let's face it, Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a big game for Tampa Bay because it can get away from you fast in the NFL. And if they don't win this game, they're 0-3 and basically done. So it's a big game for Tampa Bay, but I got to go with the Atlanta Falcons. I think Matt Ryan on prime time will show up. I think Roddy White will show up. Julio Jones. This is an explosive offense in Atlanta. I think they show up against a defense who hasn't played great, and I think the Atlanta Falcons get it done on Thursday Night Football. Okay, moving to a Sunday afternoon game. I don't know why this isn't in prime time, but we have a Super Bowl rematch in the works as the Seattle Seahawks take on the Denver Broncos in Seattle. Should be interesting. We'll start with Denver. Man, how good are the Denver Broncos right now? I mean, we knew they were a good team. And I had my doubts going into the season. That's why I picked the New England Patriots to go to the Super Bowl. But man, they are proving me wrong. They are looking like the best team in the AFC right now. I mean, from top to bottom, Peyton Manning's having another stellar year. They're running the football too. Receivers getting it done. The only question on the Denver Broncos has to be their defense. Defense not playing up to snub. And when that gets later in the season, when it starts to get colder out and you can't score so many points, this will be a big issue. It was a big issue last year in the Super Bowl. That's why they lost in the Super Bowl, was because their defense couldn't stop Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. And that's got to be a concern going forward. But besides that, the Denver Broncos are playing great, looking like the best team in the AFC, destroying the Chiefs, and looked very good against what I thought was a very good Colts team in week 1. And Denver Broncos looking great as always, and they're playing a team, the Seattle Seahawks, who lost last week. Let's bring this up. They lost, of course, to the Chargers. And you know what? Maybe this is good for Seattle. I mean, they've been riding high all year, everybody telling how great they are, and maybe this is exactly what they need, a little punch in the mouth to get them going. And that's what things last week was. They obviously didn't show up. Maybe it was a trap game because they're playing Denver this week, maybe more focused on Denver and just kind of look past the Chargers. But I think that's exactly what the Seattle Seahawks needed, was a little punch in the mouth. Exactly what they got last week, a little coming down to earth a little bit. And I still like the Seattle Seahawks. I still say they're the best team in the NFL, best defense. Love Russell Wilson. Love Marshawn Lynch and their running game. Love all the receivers. I still think the Seattle Seahawks are a really good team, and I think what we saw last week is not the team we're going to see week in, week out, and that's why I love at home. The Seattle Seahawks will be a good game, be a close game. I think it'll be a field goal type game. Will be an interesting game. Don't know why this game is in a prime time, but I love the Seattle Seahawks get the job done this week, and I think they will win this game by a field goal. And moving to our Monday nighter, the Chicago Bears take on the New York Jets. Let's start with Chicago. Wow. After week 1, I started my doubts. And, of course, at the first half, I had major doubts against San Fran last week. And, boy, did they come back in that second half. What a performance by Jay Cutler. Just showing, man, when he is on, he is a top 5 quarterback in this league. When he's on, when he's off, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. And he was on last week. And that seems how the Chicago Bears go. When he's having a good game, Chicago Bears play well. When he's having a bad game, Chicago Bears don't have enough to come back in games. Their defense, let's face it, it's not the old Chicago Bears defense. Still a decent defense, but not a top 5 defense in the league anymore. This team relies more, in my opinion, on offense. If Jay Cutler ain't going, then this team is not going to win. It's just as simple as that. They got some great weapons, Marshall, and some other great weapons out there. Matt Forte, one of the best running backs in the league. And if this team can score points, this team will have no problem winning games. But if they can stall and can't score points, I just don't think they have the type of defense anymore that can keep them in games or come back in games. So that's a Chicago Bears be interesting this week because they're playing a New York Jets team who I'm still confused if they're good or not. Because week 1, they looked good. Week 2, actually week 2 they looked decent. The New York Jets clearly looked improved, but I still don't believe in the New York Jets. I still want to see them do it consistently week in, week out. And I'm still not a big believer in Geno Smith. I want to see him be a little more consistent with his passing downfield. But the New York Jets clearly are improved. But are they a playoff team? Well, only time will tell. But what happens this week? I got to go with the Chicago Bears. I think Jay Cutler will show up in prime time. And I think the Chicago Bears get it done this week against the New York Jets. Okay, rest of our games. I like the Buffalo Bills. That's right, to go with 3-0 over the San Diego Chargers. I like Dallas to beat St. Louis. I like the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Washington Redskins. Houston going to 3-0 as they beat the New York Giants, and the Giants go 0-3. Man, are they terrible. The New Orleans Saints bounce back and beat the Minnesota Vikings. Cincinnati goes to 3-0 as they beat Tennessee. Baltimore over Cleveland. Green Bay over the Detroit Lions. Indy will finally get their first win this season as they will beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The New England Patriots get it done against the Oakland Raiders. San Fran bounces back and beats Arizona. Miami over Kansas City. Kansas City is going to be 0-3. Man, not the AFC West champs I thought they were coming in. And Carolina gets it done over Pittsburgh. Man, was I wrong about Carolina. Carolina is still a very good team. Well, last week, not my best showing. Of course, my picks, they went 7-9. Of course, my overall is 18-14. Not bad. Not great. Hopefully I can bounce back this week. But till next time, I'm Dux, and I know sports. Kind of.